is this a case of online versus offline even after the pandemic?
Yes, of course. In our view, it is about a highly integrated business model. In my view, on the margin, you will see traditional business, such as traditional retailers and distributors, being transformed more than new economy companies coming out of this crisis. For example, when the crisis hit our business hard, we actually are forced to think more about what we can do to cope with the market changes, especially, as you rightly pointed out, what happens after the crisis. It only takes 2 months for people and consumers to form new behavior, and therefore, after this crisis, we will see new behavior, new shopping pattern, and therefore, digitalization becomes a massive driving force. As a start, we need to think about how we can transform ourselves into a data-driven, consumer-centric platform and digitalize the whole organization end-to-end. And therefore, we will be able to connect with suppliers, business customers, and consumers. And therefore, we will also need to revamp and reorganize ourselves using digital mindset. To give you an example, right, very simple. After the COVID-19 outbreak in Hong Kong in February, we started the online ordering with home delivery services. This is, in fact, a practice commonly seen in mainland China, where our business has been adopting a long time ago. But that COVID-19 is an accelerator in promoting us to adopt and evolve quickly to cope with the market conditions.
Right.
And actually, as during the peak of the promotion period, online sales represented 20% of our total sales. That's the impact.
Does that mean that you'll be closing some of your brick and mortar physical stores once the pandemic is over and you even shift even more towards online?
As I mentioned at the beginning, it's more about the integration of online and offline. In fact, on April 29th, we opened our 5th Lego store in Hong Kong, in Tuen Mun. This actually provides us an ability to serve the local community better, but also it also addresses some of the digital agenda, because having an extra store sales point, it would also mean we will be able to provide better logistics services out of our shop in serving that community. In China, of course, we need to optimize the store network to increase efficiency and also provide integrated, online, offline services to our customers. For example, nowadays we are using a lot of streaming. Also asking our sales assistants to use WeChat to sell to their own customers. So this is a highly integrated approach. However, for toy business, it is very important to also keep a physical presence, because especially at a younger age, toys are being promoted to younger age customers through the physical means more than the online media, and therefore we need to maintain a balance between the online and offline presence.
Sherman, I'm wondering how much your logistics and supply chain has been impacted by the lockdowns that we've seen globally.
It certainly has a negative impact overall. However, in certain product categories, customers, kids and adults alike have resilient demands on certain categories of our products, such as the construction toys, art and craft. This is actually also a pattern that we have seen in Europe and US, and therefore it's also the similar pattern in mainland Hong Kong. And therefore, as a result, our sales in Hong Kong has remained relatively robust.
What kind of a recovery do you see on the mainland? Is it likely to be more of a U-shaped recovery? Could there be, permanent loss in demand because of changes in consumer behaviour?
There's a consistent recovery in April and then into May. And as you probably rightly described it, we are probably seeing a U-shaped recovery rather than a V-shape. 2 reasons. One is that there is only a gradual reopening of the economic activities, and second, we also still need to see a full recovery in consumer confidence over time.
how's your business in Hong Kong doing, given that it's not just about the pandemic, but it's from last year we've seen a series of protests really dampening sentiment?
Yes, and that's why we have strengthened our touch points in serving the local community. In the past, of course, a significant portion of our business is represented by cross-border travelers coming to Hong Kong to consume, but there's also a very significant portion being represented by the local demand, and therefore the opening of our new Tuen Mun Eco store would help us serve such community. And we are also planning to open our online shop platform in Hong Kong to strengthen the reach to the local community and try to diversify the risks.
What product categories are seeing strong demand? Because I understand you don't only work with toys, but also more adult-driven, collectible, specialized toys as well.
Yeah, I think as I mentioned earlier, construction toys such as Lego, have seen resilient demand in Hong Kong, in mainland, and globally in general. In mainland China, where we represent more brands and categories of products, the puzzles, board games, art and craft also seeing a very resilient demand during this pandemic period.